leadership in the Cursillo. And I said before, I thank you all for coming and saying yes to the call of our Lord. This talk is about the leadership, and I quote Father Frank Sarmani from his book, Whom Shall I Send? The call to leadership is a vocation. From the book's epilogue, he stated, if we decide that our particular calling is to the Cursillo movement, as a Cursillo leader, we must understand that this calling, like any other calling from God, is a vocation. It is not us who choose it. It's the Lord who chooses us. So let us give it with a heart and filled with dedication, because when we are faced with a decision, we have to go through a process of prayerful discernment. And that it will affirm that we are called for His will. Accepting that calls means making a commitment to God and His works. It involves directing our will to that of God's will. This also implies that being a Cursillo leader, that should be our primary apostolate. Not everyone is called to everything, but whatever challenge that we are faced, we should be thankful, show our gratitude, and give our undivided attention. During our 3-day weekend from the Leaders' Rollo, it stated that in Christianity, leaders are those who are having called and by God throw themselves decisively to apostolic action with a capacity to influence others and guide them to encounter the Lord. And I would think that that's why we're all here, because we wanted to experience the love of each other, to encounter each other, and also guide others so that they will experience the same experience that we have during those 3 days. Those leaders are those who are coming and having with sense of responsibility, or someone who accepts to be fully Christian in the world. Being a leader is about passing the joy of life, because joy is here, unto others, to what we live, or we always say, let our words and actions be the reflections of the gospel and our love for God and each other. So whatever we say, whatever we do, let it be a reflection of the gospel that we all read. It's not just reading it, but putting it to heart and acting on it. According to Pope Pius X, a Cursillo leader is a dedicated apostle, a person who puts his abilities in the service of God. He also added, should be a mature Catholic, convinced of the faith, solidly instructed in the ways of religion, sincerely devoted to church, and with genuine piety, manly virtues, clean habits, and an effective leader to others. Cursillo leaders need to find ways to maintain that commitment, and that is, one of the main responsibilities is to safeguard integrity and authenticity of the Cursillo movement by embracing and promoting the foundational charism. The leader needs to have a strong life of piety and study. He needs to constantly work on his progressive conversion. Our popes and the Pontifical Council of the Laity had called for some meetings of all the movements and the new communities, from which Saint Pope John Paul II said, "The founder is the pivot of the life of a movement, because he is the bearer of the original charism from which it is born and through which it lives." This is whatever we are doing as member of the community, member of the School of Leaders, regional, diocesan, regional, or national. We have to study and know our Cursillo movement from its inception to the present. Within the Cursillo leaders comes the responsibility For the School of Leaders, our responsibility within the School of Leader is to seek to be more centered, more committed, and more united, and accelerate the living of what is fundamental for being Christian, among ourselves and in the movement and along with the world. The essence, purpose, mentality, and method should be the center of their action as in the leaders of the movement. Within the School of Leaders, a leader should understand others, know the gifts of each other, and able to coordinate of each other's work and talent. A leader must be willing to make sacrifices, putting aside personal needs and directing the time, talent, and treasure to God's work. The School of Leaders continue to assess and cognizant of the needs of the community and promote friendship. There is no friendship, there is no Cursillo, and that's the charism of the movement. The School of Leaders assists also in finding and promoting leaders through leadership succession. Again, Father Salmani said, and he reminds us, those who are in the School of Leaders must seek new leaders who wish to make a commitment to work in the movement. We exist only to find replacements, to develop more co-workers, to help serve the larger communities of Cursillistas, and to support each other. When we have the School of Leaders, we have to also acknowledge that there is succession. It's not because there's no one to volunteer to be nominated. We'll just go around and from lay director to another position to another position. We have to give others and empower others to take that leadership in our movement. The second level of leadership is the Diocesan Secretariat. The Diocesan Secretariat is a service group. Its purpose is to safeguard the principles of piety, study, and function service as outlined in the structure of the Cursillo movement. It is an agent of service, and they are responsible for conserving and strengthening the essence, mentality, purpose, and the basic methodology which defines and characterizes the Cursillo movement. The Diocesan Secretariat is not a command center giving orders. Rather, their functions may be compared with those of the traffic officer. They are to direct, to orient, and accelerate the traffic. The Secretariat promotes knowledge. That is why it is imperative that the members of the Secretariat has to be knowledgeable of the Cursillo movement, because they are the one to give that direction. And we don't have the knowledge, then it's chaos and it will present challenges. What is required of the Secretariat? Respect the affiliation with the National Secretariat, support and participate activities within the region. We are Region 11, and we have 8 cities in the region: 4 northern, Sacramento, Oakland, San Francisco, and San Jose, and 4 in the southern: Orange, LA, San Diego, and San Bernardino. The Secretariat also have to maintain fidelity to the mentality, essence, purpose, and method of the Cursillo movement. We have to abide by the Articles of Operations of the United States in the regional structure, and to make use of the official literature of the Cursillo movement in the United States. The organization of the Secretariat, it should be an organized entity to oversee the needs of the diocese. They consist of leaders with criterion, motivated, and with enthusiasm to serve others. It is necessary for the members to be replaced after 2 to 3 years. And that's what I'm saying, we're working on succession. And for the details of this, we can look at page 7 of our Leader's Manual. Actually, the Leader's Manual is being worked on and being studied to be revisited and revised. The service of the movement in the diocese requires the following attributes: to know and make known the method of the Cursillo movement and its mentality in order to properly impel its purpose. To orient and impel the movement in the 3 phases. What are the 3 phases? Pre, 3-day, and the post-Cursillo. And to oversee that only the necessary Cursillo weekends are held. So again, that's why we're having formation, to be able to understand that the process of how we handle the 3-day weekend is according to what is request of us to do. And to seek the proper operation of the School of Leaders according to its assignments that is given by the national. So the next level, we are not just the diocesan, we have the regional service team, or I'll just say RST to be short. The RST is the agent that safeguards the Cursillo mentality, essence, purpose, and method, and a supporting group dedicated to the service and the needs of each diocese. It is the working arms of the National Secretariat within the region. There are 12 regions in the United States, 4 language group: English, Spanish, Vietnamese, and the Filipino. Region 11 is the only region of the 12 that has a Filipino language group. So we are the only Filipino language group among the 12 regions. There's none in New York, there's none in Chicago. There are lots of Filipinos and lots of Cursillistas. And I was asked, I don't know why they don't have a Filipino language group over there. We've been trying to tap on the Las Vegas because there's a lot of Filipinos who had moved to Las Vegas. So the team of us, the RST, Brother Art, we would travel to Las Vegas to kind of see how we can start forming the Filipino language group in Las Vegas. We'll invite you, Sister Cora. The RST is composed of 1 regional coordinator, and yours truly, thank you for the confidence that I'll help with this. And again, my term will end on September 2025. So I'm working and I'm begging those who are leaders in their capacity, please step up. It's a beautiful experience. It's beautiful. And it's also with advisors. Right now I'm working on a future spiritual advisor in this group. So Brother Noe, Deacon Noe, is being requested to be one of our team members. Regional coordinators, we need 3 to 4. So Sister Len and Sister Vanji from LA and San Bernardino is gonna expire their terms. So I only have 1 left, that is Sister Robin Barkin from San Jose. So at least we need 3 more. It will be possible that we can have representation, at least 2 from Northern and 2 from Southern California. And again, the regional coordinator is an official member of the National Secretariat with voice and vote. Again, it is not a power, it is not a political power that we have. That's why when you notice Sister Cora's what you call this, label, it used to be lay director. Now they are diocesan Cursillo coordinator. We are coordinator. We are not director. We are not president that will have the power. We are here to serve. We are a service team. All the regional coordinators from each region and all represented languages from the National Secretariat are here to help establish, develop, and endorse and fully implement the official documents of the Cursillo movement and their respective regions. The RSD assists with facilitating and communicating with the diocesan level regarding making known the method of the Cursillo movement and its mentality and how it is to properly be applied. That's why each diocesan sends an annual report. What's going on in your diocese is reported by October. All of this, what's happening in the diocese, has been reported to the national. And by November, we discuss all of those. I attend twice the National Secretariat meeting. The last one was done in Columban Retreat House in Nebraska. So all of what's going on here is not a secret to the national. So if there is issues, we allow the diocesan to resolve the issues within the diocese. And if it's not handled according to what your diocese processes, then it reaches the regional. We don't want to involve the bishop. Believe me, we don't. So if the region would not be able to resolve it, and it goes to the national. So we will always allow, and we will always have the diocesan issues be resolved in the diocesan before it reaches the regional. We have to, the purpose also is to inform the diocesan level coordinator and share with the community the Cursillo structure guidelines. Encourage annual review of the diocesan constitution and bylaws, and adapt with the articles of operation in the United States. Also assist with the diocesan school of leaders with recommended materials for study and assures compliance and assignments. We make effort to connect with each diocesan secretariat and introduce the purpose and transparency and open communication to determine the educational needs of the various dioceses. We also visit a diocesan and region to attend and having to have a personal contact with them. The regional service team meets at least twice a year during the spring and fall encounters and makes commitment to participate in the national events. So there's national encounters, and aside from the regional, we have the spring and the fall for the regional. So encourage everyone to attend. It's not just the diocesan. We can have more friends if we are aware of what's going on in our Cursillo movement. So the next level is the National Secretariat and the national staff. The National Secretariat is made of the 26 regional coordinators. That's what I'm saying, the 12 region with the 26 regional coordinators that we meet twice a year. Then it's also a National Episcopalian Advisor, and currently we have Most Reverend Carlos Arthur Sevilla Jr. You might know of Father Elizondo. He is not, he's passed. It's now Most Reverend Carlos Arthur Sevilla. The Secretariat is responsible for providing the articles of operation and promote unity and a creative expression of the mentality of the founder of the Cursillo movement. The National Secretariat also provides criteria as to what constitutes an authentic Cursillo movement in the diocese, with permission to use the Cursillo method, name, logo, and the materials. The National Secretariat is responsible for the good conduct of the Cursillo movement in the United States, and therefore establishes policy for the purpose and retain all authority to implement established policies. In addition to the basic responsibility of its main responsibility, including promoting and communication within the Cursillo movement, they also maintain the relationship with the international Cursillo bodies. Then there's the National Secretariat Coordinating Group. So from the national, there's the OMCC, Organismo de Cursillo de Cristianidad, or the World Organization of the Cursillo in Christianity. It is the coordinating body of the Cursillo in Christianity movement at the world level. The purpose is to promote the fidelity of the church and its teachings, an entity of service, and that's why we promote the dynamic unity in the Cursillo movement. So the OMCC, right now, they just had the election last November 2023. And if you're interested, the NACG is the North American Caribbean group, which we are. United States, Canada, Antigua, Barbados, Dominican Republic, Grenada, Jamaica, and all of those. APG is the Asia Pacific, and actually the Philippines is in that group. Latin America, Argentina, Bolivia, and then the GECC, or the European group. Today's OMCC, or the organismo, they have 9 elected positions, the president, vice president, secretary, and all of those. The international group, they had voted that group out of all of those countries. There are 4 representatives. The Asia Pacific, which is the Philippines, is on the seat of one of the international group. The European is Hungary, Dominican Republic, and Canada. So out of those international group, they elect position for the worldwide leadership, good for 4 years. So the NSCG seat was elected, which is headed by Canada. But on that group, Steve Cross was voted as the president, coming from the United States. The vice president is from Canada, Linda Picanin. Secretary is from Caribbean. Treasurer is from Canada. The spiritual advisor is from Grenada, who's very active with our NACG weekly meeting, Father Andrew. And representative on the OMCC is, you probably have heard her name, Jackie Demes-McGray. She's from Washington, D.C. She was one of our speakers during the virtual encounter. Again, we are not just Cursillo in the Diocese of Oakland. We have affiliation throughout the world. So let us all acknowledge that we have friends everywhere. And I hope that, this talk gives us a little enlightenment that, we are not alone. We are part of a whole group that Eduardo wants us to be. And this talk gives you some review of how the Cursillo movement is working along with you. And let us explore of Eduardo's thinking by focusing on being a true leader in the Cursillo movement, with genuine love, friendship, filled with infectious love to each other, and criterion. And thank you. Hope to have a little clarification on the leadership in the Cursillo movement. De Colores.